what you see here is a result of our last cultural event, which was, we call it suckering. Suckering generally means pulling the shoot off the rootstock, and above that it's called pruning, whatever. Beginning to shape the tree. This is probably the second pruning that these trees have had in their life cycle. And as they grow bigger, generally, at least for us, it grows. If the trees are vigorous, and these are fairly vigorous, they'll need at least every other year, if not every year, they'll need pruning. The caracaras, again, like we talked about, are not real heavy crop producers, but that has no bearing on the amount of blooms that the tree may or may not produce. But the orange tree can produce tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of blooms. Obviously, no way are they all going to set. So what's that for? Well, it's the way God made them, and it smells good. We will not know the crop for this tree here until mid-July, because from now on, blooms and the fruit that we think is going to set will drop. If we get hot weather, when hot weather, I'm talking about above 100 or upper 90s or low 100s, will contribute to a bloom drop, fruit drop. No matter how much water we put on, it will be subject to that. We call it June drop. June drop starts in May, goes through June and through July. So again, we never count our oranges before the end of July, to be honest with you, or we never look at them. And with caracaras like these are, they tend to produce not on the outside of the tree, but just a little bit inside. So you could look at a section like this and say, there's nothing there. But in August, when you start to see fruit that big, you say, wait a minute, there's actually 5 pieces of fruit in there. So it's, to look at the bloom has no bearing on what the tree will produce. Once the tree gets into a mode of dropping blooms, it just doesn't want to stop. And so this area here, or these branches here, would be what I would call a heavy bloom. And it's not to my liking. But you go in and you see something like this, that's got a king bloom on it. That would be, these haven't even bloomed, I can tell you they're gonna drop. But this one may make. We call this a king bloom, or I call it a king bloom. And you can see the difference in growth stage there. This is the big boss, and if somebody's gonna suck up the nutrients of the plant, it's gonna be this one. And you can see that. I mean, sure, there's growth stages. You can see the stem on that king bloom. It's green, it's dark green, and it's got that waxy look to it, versus these a little paler green. And that abscission layer is already started. I don't know if you can pick that up. You see a little circle on the circle. A little indentation there. That's what we call the abscission layer, and it will drop. That's where it will drop from. And it may not even bloom if that abscission layer, it may not even bloom. And sometimes it's really sad. On a really heavy bloom, the trees will just be white underneath. Say, oh, poor bloom, but it's an orange grower. I don't look at it that way. It's the blooms that I can't see inside the tree that generally are going to set.